Everyone on YouTube knows Mr.Beast.
$300,000 car!
While his recent videos always get tens of millions of views, this hasn't always been the case. If we scroll down all the way to the bottom, we can see Mr.Beast's origins in plain sight with almost a dozen Pokemon battle videos, with the least viewed being at just 54,000 views. So today, we're going to take a look and see just how good Mr.Beast was at Pokemon. I'm going to pick out the 5 most important moments of this particular battle to answer that question. Number 1, the early game. As Aldous starts the game, a bit less catchy than Mr.Beast, but I guess it works, we see a strong start with a Reflect into Stealth Rocks. Newer players tend to focus much more heavily on aggressive moves as his opponent does exactly this, but these first 2 turns set up well for the rest of the game, while his opponent only manages to apply 17% damage as a lucky Hypnosis sets Mr.Beast into a great position to start the game. Number 2, Sacrificial Pawns. There are 3 times in this video that I think Mr.Beast needlessly loses Pokemon that could have changed the game. It makes a good play staying in with Chandelure after predicting the switch against a Milotic, but then stays in a further 2 turns when the Skull continues to take Chandelure out with little benefit. That is quickly followed up by a Hariyama sacrificing itself against
Pimp. He switches into Pimp,
where Mr.Beast has both Bronzong and Xatu that could have switched in to tank this hit with ease. Especially Bronzong, as we've already seen that this forced him to switch in the early game and would have allowed him to set up Reflect. Xatu later fell to a similar fate, getting Toxic off, but ultimately that didn't do very much in the whole game. Number 3, Meta Knowledge. While not every single play is pristine from Mr.Beast, we do see some meta knowledge on display. He switches in Blastoise against the Arcanine to soak the Fire Blitz fairly nicely, then opts for the Aqua Jet to take the KO over another water move that would have been slower. And speaking of water, the inspiration for today's Mr.Beast related video is to promote his latest charity drive to be part of TeamSeas. It's an incredibly ambitious project to raise $30 million, where each dollar spent takes a pound of rubbish out of the ocean. Sadly, YouTube won't let me mark this video as a fundraiser due to not being 10,000 subscribers yet, but there's a link in the description if you want to donate, and I've started us off with a donation of my own. Plus, any revenue that this video makes while the project is ongoing will go towards the fund. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, Aqua Jet. See, Arcanine's speed stat is much higher than Blastoise, so the Aqua Jet guarantees the kill, whereas a non-priority move wouldn't have. Let's say that he switched in to take the Flare Blitz and expected to get a Surf off in return. If he didn't know that he was slower, a Thunder Fang would probably have just killed the Blastoise outright and sealed the deal, meaning that knowing he could only switch in if he had a priority move was crucial here, although I suppose the opponent's name might have been a bigger hint of the speed difference. Gallade comes in afterwards and takes out Blastoise in return, which kills with a Thunder Punch. Mr.Beast says,
I was not even expecting him to have any type of Thunder move.
This might disprove this point, but the move isn't recommended on any of the official guides for Generation 5, making this an off-meta decision, so we can forgive it. Number 4, Scarf Plays. For those who don't know, a Choice Scarf is a powerful item that increases your speed by 50%, but at the cost that you can only use 1 attack until you switch out. We see some great uses of this on Heracross throughout the battle, getting some early chip damage against Arcanine, and crucially when Mr.Beast is left with just 2 Pokemon, they manage to whittle down his opponent's team from 5 to 1 Pokemon left with careful switching and choice usage. Mr.Beast does note himself it's weird his opponent didn't switch into their Ghost type against a fighting type close combat, but that's all part of the game. Number 5, off-meta choices. Finally, just as important as knowing the meta during a game is being able to take advantage of it beforehand. Mr.Beast makes one very interesting choice in his team building that he comments on in the video.
So I'm guessing he thought I had Levitate, but I'm actually running Heat Proof because I love it when people use fire moves and expect it to kill me.
Heat Proof is generally regarded as the worst ability, only reducing fire damage by half rather than preventing all ground moves from dealing any damage. Again, all the guides say to use Levitate, but this means when he comes up against a Steelix that likely has Earthquake which would deal heavy damage, his opponent avoids it, as would most opponents assuming the Levitate. It's as if Bronzong has both Levitate and Heat Proof at once, with the exception of being unable to switch into a ground type move. This doesn't come up this game, but it easily could have against the opponent's Arcanine, and shows you how using the default of the meta can be used to your advantage. In the end, Mr.Beast does go on to lose this game incredibly narrowly, with a double Stone Age miss that every Pokemon player will feel the pain of hearing that. I think it's great that Mr.Beast left all these videos up showing his past and giving hope to creators like me that there are many roads to success that we can see through the channel's entire history. And if you've enjoyed this video, he has lots of other Pokemon battles you can go back through and check out. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this little analysis, and if you did, a like, subscribe or comment would go a long way towards helping my channel out. But more importantly, please consider a donation using the button in the description below, or click the link on Mr.Beast's video for information which should be coming up on your screen right about now.